And you know what I haven't done? Wait, are we about to be?
Oh, we're live. Well, yes, we are live right now. But don't let this be a distraction.
I think you might want to mute me for a second then. Because
that I can do. You're muted. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Paul and the Muted Cat, where we take you on a journey for the new live stream experience. Does thumbs up mean I should bring you back in, Cat? Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Paul, and that's Cat, and she has a voice now.
Yeah, and so, true story, every week I forget that when I am putting on the YouTube, so I can see the comments, it's not always muted, and so then I don't want to have it play back, cause some reverb or some sort of problem. Now, Paul, do we have a double countdown timer going on? Is that what I'm seeing?
I just saw that, and I have no idea. Zero idea why that's happening. That is a vMix issue. That is not mine. I take no. Oh, look. You know what? We got time. I'll look into what's happening.
Oh, there we go. Fixed. Oh, voila.
Look at that.
And I'd like to say hello to Andy. Who
hey,
has
Andy.
Joined us. 3D glasses. That's a little bit of a throwback. Also, I saw it. You won't have seen it, but before we started, Paul had a little bit. Is it flock of seagulls hair? Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah, I had a flock of seagulls hair thing going, and Kat said, I won't do the show with you looking like that. Go to a washroom and fix it. And I was like, all right.
Didn't say that. Didn't say that. I'm not that mean. Although
very demanding.
I laughed.
The cat you guys see and the cat I see, so different. This is all lies.
Oh, yeah.
She just said, oh, you look like flock of seagulls. And I'm like, oh, I'm leaving.
Yeah. So we did a little bit of a longer countdown, although I see that it is actually now the top of the hour.
Oh, welcome, Stuart.
Oh, yes. Hello. Well, hi, guys and gals. You got the double clock again. This is weird. Not gonna lie, I feel like this is an omen for what's to come today. We are doing a special behind-the-scenes show, and I don't know, something feels like maybe it's a sign that it's gonna be a mess. What's happening, Paul?
I know what's happening. It will not happen again. So, nope, it did happen again. Well, oh well. What are you gonna do? You can't fight vMix sometimes. Live streaming is all about making do.
JV is watching on mute, so he's probably wondering what on earth is happening with that countdown timer.
No, Andy, here's the thing. Graphics, yes, by Paul Dixon. However, we love them so much we decided to layer them on top of each other. So
that's not true. That's not a Paul Dixon one.
That's not a... Oh, that's a you! That's a cat!
That's a me. I don't think we have any Paul Dixon on this. I think you made our overlays and I made our countdown timer.
That's true.
That's oh, Ron. Hello, Ron. It's nice to see you.
My God, I know what's happening.
Maybe this is Marbles. Oh, Andy, you called him out on it. Okay, Paul, are you panicking? You're making me nervous.
No, I'm not panicking. This is... Let me... This could be an issue. This won't be an issue. This won't be an issue because here's what we're going to do today, guys. We are going to read your comments. We're not going to bother posting them. Anybody could post, but it takes a real host to read them out loud and appreciate them. Now, is this a way for me to cover for my layer issues? 100%.
You gotta do what you gotta do to keep the show going and just grace under pressure, correct? Right? That's what
people have always said about me, grace under pressure. Also, a TV show never watched.
It's great. Grace Under Pressure?
Did you ever watch Grace Under Pressure? It's very old. I'm dating
It's familiar,
myself.
But no. I don't think so. I think maybe I was a little too, maybe both of us were a little too young for that audience.
Yeah, it came out in the 1890s. It's a long time ago.
Now, I like the question. So Andy asked about marbles. Are you keeping up with the marbles? Are you moving your marbles when you make a mistake, or have you kind of put that on pause for a little bit?
So, funny, in complete honesty, that comment was from a week ago or even a couple weeks ago, but for some reason in vMix it triggered an old comment. I do have the marbles. I keep them. I still keep them right here. And I look down at them and I'm like, oh yeah, it's okay to make mistakes. So, Andy, yes, I still use the marbles.
All right. I've been using my marbles, but they're usually on my desk. I moved them out of the way for today because we're going to do a little tour. So yes, I have tidied up. My desk does not always look as clean as you are going to see today. So full disclosure, I feel like I need to preface that in case people think that I always have such a clear space. Although I guess it's not as clear as it could be.
And complete honesty, I did not clean my desk. My girlfriend asked, would you like me to vacuum your desk? And I'm like, no, let people see who I really am.
All its glory.
Should we start the show?
Yes, we should. No music, Paul.
No, here's the thing though. There is music, but for some reason you cannot hear it. You are not privy to the music.
Oh, really?
Yep. 100%.
Okay.
Ask people in the comments. People watching live. Did I F that up? Did I that up? I don't think so.
You guys had music and I didn't hear it? Oh, I usually hear the music. So there is something still wonky with your audio.
Can you hear that?
I can, yeah. Huh. Well, egg on my face. Making me look bad.
Which, very healthy protein. So, good on you. And when it's on your face, you're not even consuming it. So that's just protein, that's not even going to be consumed.
And hey, Paul from over in the UK, love audio production. Glad you could join us.
What's up, guys? Real quick, if you're here for the first time, or if you just got here, we love all your comments. For some reason, I cannot bring comments up right now. Do I blame myself? No. I don't have that kind of courage. I will blame vMix, which is one of the products we use. And we're talking about what products we use today. What a segue.
Yeah. So today is our behind the scenes episode. So usually we are talking with another guest who is a fellow live streamer about their experience, but we decided it would be fun to take a pause from interviewing and actually show you behind the scenes, because I know both Paul and I really like to see people's setups. We like to learn what are they using, what's their tech, and how do they put it all together. And we thought maybe some of you might be interested in seeing our setups. So that's what we are planning for today. And hopefully it'll be engaging. If you guys have questions while we're showing the setup, we can answer those, maybe give some tips or tricks that we have learned from our firsthand experience. And also, I know there are a number of you in the chat, maybe all of you, who do streaming as well. So we also like to hear your opinions while we go through this.
Love audio. I love the fact everybody's nosy. Everybody loves a good show, a tech show. So ask any question. If you've seen us do something and you're wondering how the heck we did it, let us know. Or if you're like, how the heck to avoid it, Paul, I'll tell you.
All right. We got to show us. You know what we should have planned, though, first was who's going to actually do the demo first? Who's going to go behind the scenes first?
Do you want to do best out of 3, rock, paper, scissors?
No. I suck at that game.
Well, that's a great reminder that tonight I'm offering an improv drop-in, which is an opportunity to learn how to say yes and to offers made by other people.
Yeah, I definitely screwed that up. I just said no to the improv guy who always talks about the importance of yes and just shut down.
Wait a second. Do you feel like you're bad? Listen, can we have a deep dive here? Kat, do you feel like you're bad at rock, paper, scissors?
I
Have you ever
think
done rock, paper, scissors?
I cower away from high pressure situations.
And it doesn't
But
get any more high pressure than a random choice between rock, paper. Nope, that's scissors. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, let's do it. Let's.
Oh!
Yes, let's do rock, paper, scissors to decide who's first. So whoever.
Look at this! We got her to do rock, paper, scissors. This is exciting.
Hold on, though. What's the actual outcome? If you win, do you decide? Or if you win, does the other person go first? How does that work? What is actually the outcome? I got to know before I play.
Got it. So, well, let's say this. Do you want to go first? Because if you want to go first, then the winner... I say winner goes first.
All right.
Are you game?
Okay, yes. Whoever wins this will show the behind the scenes first. And I guess we have to do the rock, paper, scissors within view so everyone can see. So we got to do it near our face.
Wait, hold on a second. What about this? This makes more sense. Winner chooses if they want to go first or not. Okay. Then, because the winner has all the control then.
Well, now Andy's saying ask the audience, which is a fair point.
Interesting. He is the audience. So he's pretty much saying, ask Andy. That's what Andy's saying.
Yeah, so I'm curious, what does Andy
ask
think?
Andy.
Or the rest of the audience.
Yeah,
what do you
absolutely.
think? Should it be whoever wins should be the one who gets to choose who goes first? Or do they automatically go first? Because then if there's still a decision, this is we've gone off the rails, haven't we?
The whole show is best when it's off the rails.
Okay, winner chooses. Hashtag ask Andy.
There you go.
Winner chooses. Okay. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna play. So we gotta have we gotta be in camera view, right? And do you use your hand or just like
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, and then throw.
Oh, after 3.
After 3.
That's very important.
A game changer. Okay?
All right.
Best out of 3. 1, 2,
3.
Wait, let's. Okay.
Is my camera lagging? I feel like this counting was awful.
Our counting game is real. We should never be cheerleaders on the same team.
I just showed paper. Did you show something or did you
I was going to show rock. So paper covers rock. So you win that first round. So second one, okay? On 3.
What are we this but I don't know about this. This delay is awkward.
Let's try it.
Okay.
So you won the first round. So now if you win the second one, you take everything. Okay? On 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, throw. Oh, okay.
I counted wrong. What did you just put?
I have scissors.
Okay,
we
so
tied. We tied.
Okay.
All right.
We definitely went too soon.
On 3. 1, 2, 3, throw.
Oh, you won. Okay, you get to pick.
Okay. I would love to go second.
Okay, then I will go first.
Fantastic.
We could have saved a lot of time if I was willing to go first. Oh, right. Okay, so I am going to take the reins over here. Yeah, I'm tearing up. This always happens. This show, if you have come back before, you know that, man, my eyes water a lot because I am laughing so much. Okay, so we are going to throw over to my webcam. Hey. And I am going to step back. Now, as you see, here's my microphone. So I'm going to try and make sure that you can still hear me while I do this little tour. And actually, I'm thinking, let me know if this gets too noisy.
Real quick.
Yeah, this is... Woo.
Real quick, Andy is curious. Is it tears of joy or sadness?
Joy.
Okay,
definitely
great.
Joy.
Good. And I will field questions for you as you're on your tour, if that makes life easier.
All right. So right now we're looking up towards my teleprompter. And what I'm actually going to do, hold on, I don't want to bump into this, is I'm going to turn this off so you can see my camera. because you can see the Sony in the reflection. And so a lot of people always ask, what's the camera that you use? I use the Sony ZV-1, and it is hidden behind because I've got this little teleprompter. And so this teleprompter is to be used with something like an iPad, tablet, or you can use it with a phone. It actually has a little groove in there for your phone so that can stay still. And I have been using this now, I would say I set it up in September. And the reason I'm showing it is because I actually find it really helpful for showing what I'm actually looking at. Now, this is probably locked on me. Yep. Should have thought of that before I turned it off. Anyhow. So what I do is I use an app called Duet. Let me just see if I can use my, sorry if you're shaking.
Here, do you want me to, here, I'll go back to a full screen of me. Oh.
So this is actually, so what you're seeing now is a mirror image of my iMac is actually showing up on here. So if I were to actually want to see a really big feed of what I'm seeing on vMix, I could actually expand it like that, have it smaller. There is an option for the Duet display to, instead of mirroring, I can actually have act like a third monitor. And that's okay. But because, as you can see, everything's flipped because it's a teleprompter. So that's a drawback. Okay, so this is really trippy. I'm gonna actually, just to not have so much infinity. So over here, you can see the YouTube feed. I'm gonna just put that down for a moment. Paul, you can tell me if there are questions, okay, just so that there's not so much infinity going on. Okay, so my primary computer. Oh, do you have a question?
Kat, to interrupt you real fast, we do have a question. Yeah. Yes. Cool setup. What kind of tripod or mount are you using for the teleprompter?
Oh, okay. I'm going to put me back on for a second. This is my little webcam. So I don't know, because I was into photography in my teen years, and I had like a good old 35 millimeter SLR camera, and that was a gift from my dad. But he got a proper, it's a good quality one. Some of the features, let me see, I'll change it. I don't know how well you can see this, but I do have a handle so that I can adjust the tilt. So I can angle. So my camera is actually at a slight angle. And the way this works, I wonder if I can show this to you without making everyone dizzy, is that there is kind of a track. So this sits on the tripod. There we go. And then on the actual teleprompter, you can adjust your camera. So I do not know, maybe there's a name on the actual tripod, but it is a professional camera tripod that I've had for 2 decades. So that answers that. All right. Is that all for those questions? I don't hear anything anymore. We're still...
Yep, nope, you're good. Oh, Andy says, this
here.
is a proper behind the scenes. So you are giving a proper behind the scenes, according to Andy. You're knocking it out of the park.
Excellent. All right, so if we go over, we've got my iMac, which I upgraded from, I actually have it, I don't usually have it on my desk, but I've got my MacBook Pro. This is what I started streaming with. And I was just finding with using Ecamm and streaming software that the fan was going off so quickly, so frequently. I know it's not good for your computer, but I just could not seem to calm it down. So that's when I invested in this, this as my primary computer. The reason I have this out today is because just today, I'm very excited to say, I figured out NDI. And is there a Meaty Books comment? I think I heard you laughing.
And yep. Yeah, I love that you knew exactly what I was laughing about. Yes, yeah. Andy says the book monitor rise. He loves it. So
yes, I've got my big books that hold up my monitor. It's working. Why? If it's not broke, don't fix it. So this is my switcher. So this is what I just got a few days ago. So I've got an 8-port gigabyte D-Link switcher or switch. And as you can see, I've got 3 different cables. So one's going directly to my modem, one is going to my iMac, and one is going to this. And so it's connected directly, and then I also have a power source coming in. And I was playing around with having my remote so I can actually use it to move slides back and forth, so that if I want to show something on Ecamm, I can be running Keynote on here to save on the CPU, because it does, I mean, even right now, my fan is actually going, which is disappointing. But it's just, when you're streaming and you're doing all this stuff, it takes up a lot. The other thing I wanted to show you just above the computer is, this is my LED light, and it's by a company named Godox. And it actually comes with a little remote. So I can turn the light on and off with the remote. I don't have to worry about climbing around. And I can adjust the brightness. Wait. So I can actually make it warmer or go back to brighter. So that's pretty nice. I like having that. Yeah, and I just keep it near me. The other thing I have over on my desk is an extra Bluetooth keyboard and a Magic Trackpad from Apple. And these are actually connected by Bluetooth up into this guy, because I do sometimes use a teleprompter for recorded videos, or occasionally if I'm running a live, I will put the notes on the iPad. Now I use something called Prompt Smart Pro, I believe is what it's called. And that allows me, because as you can see here, oh, sorry, crooked. As you can see, this is flipped, so everything's backwards. But on the Prompt Smart Pro, it actually mirrors everything so I can read it. But because I sometimes want to make changes to my bullet points or to my notes, I can just update it using that keyboard. And what I'll do is have this trackpad. Oops, sorry, everyone. I'm sure you heard that on the microphone. So I'll have this trackpad. I can use my left hand to just scroll and progress the bullet points. Or if I'm actually recording a video where I have a script, I can just do that. Now, Prompt Smart Pro, if you are looking for a teleprompter software for a tablet or a phone, it can use your voice. But if you have some of the same words over and over, sometimes it'll jump to another spot. So it's nice to be able to override it by using the little trackpad. And then the last thing I think to feature is just, I've got the Stream Deck. I have the 15. And so it's the medium version, I guess. And this one, so if you see, bring it over to the main cam. So far, this has been fine. I haven't had any trouble with it. And I remember that live streaming pros mentioned, always go larger than you think, but this worked within my budget. And now, of course, I'm like, oh, maybe I will eventually want the XL, but it is working. I know you can organize with folders, and so I'm not overly concerned with it.
Oh, I should mention.
Any questions?
Yes. So people are very concerned the fact that you have a glass of water next to all this tech. Andy, Stuart, they are, I think, very traumatized that it's happening.
I can't risk getting parched while I'm talking, you know?
It's true.
I do have, this is where I will keep, now, streaming point though, I'm trying to reopen. There we go. Now I can see a sippy cup. No, don't think I'm going to do a sippy cup, but this is actually a glass coaster, which is a bad idea. So don't do a glass coaster. That's my advice there. Oh, I think I'm going to change camera. So it doesn't sound good. See, you could probably hear me putting down my glass. It's not a great idea. Oh, and the other thing that I didn't mention is that this arm for my microphone is new. I just got this on Friday. And one of the reasons, do you want to see it?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to show it. So.
I can show it. Okay, wait. So this is the Rode PSA 1, and it's a really nice swivel. So I can tuck it out of the way when I'm not using it. It just clamps to the side of the desk, and it's pretty secure. My original idea was to have it back here and coming down the front, but it actually started to interfere with, it would bump up against here, and it just I couldn't get it the right angle without buying a shock mount, and I didn't want to have to spend more money, so I just went with the side mount here. Yeah.
And Ron would like to say, I can't risk getting parched while I'm talking. So Canadian. And he thinks he heard an A in there. I didn't hear an A, but could have been. I might have missed it.
Maybe. Maybe. Yes, I know that the tech doesn't like. So, what do you guys do? Tell me in the comments. How do you handle having a refreshment nearby? What do you do?
Yeah. Yeah, how do you guys do
True
it?
story. And now that I'm talking about water, now I'm thirsty.
Yeah, you think about it. Look at that. You think about it, and then it becomes true. Yeah, I don't understand. How would anybody do this without having liquids next to them? I have to. I'm drinking coffee constantly.
I have, this is a funny story. I don't think I've actually done it on camera, but multiple times before a stream, I've taken a sip of water and spilled down the front. So apparently, the risk is more to my clothing than to my tech, at least so far. That is just the truth of it. But yeah.
I did that right before going live. I spilled some water on my pants, and I'm like, oh no. Out of all the days I'm going to be using my mobile camera, if somebody sees water in my pants, they're going to think he peed himself. So
excited about the behind the scenes that he peed himself a little.
Yeah. He's so excited about showing his tech. Poor guy. Can't control splatter.
No, okay. One other thing that I might, before we pass over to you, that I might mention, I don't have to necessarily show it, is that in the previous, I'm going to grab it, but in previous streams, you've seen me wearing these guys. I'm not wearing them today because I did decide to make a change to the in-ear. They're clear. They tuck behind your ear. I switched to those. These, though, are Sennheiser, and they're actually radio frequency. So they are not Bluetooth. They connect with a receiver to the actual computer. And I really like them, but I have decided to make the switch to the in-ear one. It does help a little bit with audio, and then I don't have to worry about the charge, because even though it's not Bluetooth, they still have to be charged because they were wireless.
Oh, got it. So the ones in the ear, they connect to, where do they connect to? To like a pack? And the pack talks to the...
No, so these are, I actually got, I don't know if you can see it. I have a 3-foot extension.
Oh, well.
Goes right into the back of my iMac.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's like, is this worth switching cameras? No, it's just an extension. So I bought a 3.5 millimeter audio jack extender so that it's just connecting between me and the iMac. So I am a little bit connected. I can't just walk away with these in.
Got it. Cool.
Massive
it
cable.
Looks great.
3 feet's not massive.
I love your setup. It's so good. And your cable management is so impressive. There's not a lot on that desk.
Really, it's just a lot of it's just the cables all dangling behind. But they're almost all off of the table, which I guess is nice.
Andy says massive cable. Yeah, 3 foot. It's pretty big, Andy. Pretty
it's
large.
Long enough for me to be able to stream. And that's what's most important.
Oh, and Andy's drinking from a flask. Look at that. Classy guy. Just drinking in a flask. I'm sure it's filled with water.
Take a little swig.
Just a little nip. Every time
but I feel like
live.
I would be trying to get the screw on or something, and then I would stumble, and who knows. But I'll take the point that people are freaked out, because it is probably a warning that I'm saying, yeah, it's fine. I haven't spilled anything yet. And then it's going to happen. And then I'll come on here and say, you told me so.
Oh, so Stuart uses the same one as you with a body pack. So it does offer a body pack option. Interesting. Cool.
Sammy, I know someone that has cable OCD, and that is Dr. Elo. I love it. You just called him right out on it. That's awesome.
I like how you started the sentence with like subtlety, like, I know somebody, but I don't want to drop names. And then you're, boom, here's a name. So, Sammy, you get right to it. Should I dive in and talk a little tech?
Yeah, let's see behind the scenes for you.
All right. So here's something I realized. my webcam, I'm going to be using the web camera. It's a Logitech 920.
Is it the same one? I think we have the same. Yeah.
Oh, Logitech 920?
Yeah.
Cool. This is what I use for my cat camera, so it has been very helpful. Also, I'm sure everybody watching who's been doing live streaming realizes this. If you have a second camera, what a great way if you need to take a sip of water or coffee or you just need to go do something you don't want to be on camera. You can kick it over to that and tell people, oh, go look at the cats. But really, you're like, I got to take care of me. So,
and then while you're gone, your friends will sabotage you and play a prank on you.
Absolutely. And then you don't know what to believe anymore. And it all starts with getting a second camera. Not sure what to believe anymore. All right.
Gaslighting Paul.
Gaslighting Paul. I'm going to get back. Can you still hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay,
I'll let you know if you get too quiet.
Great. Let's go through this. And sorry it's so jumpy. I have a gigantic ring light in the upper right corner, which is great. It's actually, I have it, it comes, so let me say this real fast, that the ring light, I really like it. However, if you are given the option of a controller, personally, I don't like having mine on a controller because this isn't like the most high-end ring light. So sometimes the controller might get knocked and the lights go real funky. So I prefer to not use a controller, just set it and forget it on the back of the ring light. So that's just me. Wait, that's not the camera. This is what I want. I have a gaming monitor, which has been helpful. Having two monitors has been hugely helpful for this whole process. Having stuff over here, but then also the freedom over here. The camera, I use a Sony 6400 with a Sigma 16 millimeter lens, and I recently just added this tiny little, it's yo-yo, I don't know. I found it on Amazon. It's like $50, and I just set it on top, and I use it as a confidence monitor, which is really great because now instead of constantly looking over here, all I have to do is just kind of look up. I can still look, but see everything right above. It's been hugely helpful just to have a confidence monitor right there.
And what do you put on that confidence monitor? What do you keep on there versus, is it your live feed or a few things? I mean,
it is the live feed. Thank you. That's a great question. It's a live feed going out. So whatever is going out to YouTube, I get to see it right up there, which is great because there's been many times I've realized, oh, I am not showing the thing I thought I was showing. So
yeah,
it's very helpful. I have the Wave 3. I really like it. Whoa, that's so close. I have the Wave 3. I really like it. I don't know the arm that I have connecting it. Now here's hot tip that I'd recommend. Help somebody move and maybe they'll pay you with a boom mic arm. Because that's exactly what I did. I helped somebody move and I was in their house and they're like, hey, do you want this boom mic arm? And I'm like, yeah. So I don't know how much they cost, but I know how much time it took. Took 6 hours. That's a lot of time to move. Another hot tip, if you're moving, I don't know. Just make sure all the boxes are packed before your friends come over to move it. Anyways,
I like it. You could just say, we'll help you move for streaming gear.
Mm-hmm. It's, if they don't need it anymore, I do. Are there any questions? So sorry.
So far, no. You do have a comment about how organized your icons are on the desktop.
Oh, thank you. So I have the 32, or what is it? I think it's the 32
XL.
Stream Deck. It's been helpful. Truthfully, though, like as you can see, I'm doing a lot with this, but I have a lot of stuff in folders, which has saved a lot of room. So the 32 isn't even super necessary because right here, there's 7 buttons I'm not even using because I'm utilizing, like I don't think you can see it, but I have all my sounds inside of this folder. A couple key sounds I use all the time I have right here, like applause or a little swear button. Oh boy, you really saw a finger that I chewed the hell out of. I'm trying to think what else.
I'm glad that you shared that because I do think people will often, like myself, even start to panic and say, oh, do I need to do more? But as you said, there are the folders and yeah, it'll depend on what you're doing with it.
Yeah. The other thing I should mention. I just have a HD60S Elgato, so I don't use the Plus, although I've been thinking about getting it. Also, it's hard to see because it's like black on black on black. The tripod I have is actually, if you look below in the description for this stream, I've linked out to a YouTube video which has been hugely helpful, and it shows you how to create a tripod, but not only a tripod, that it has a tripod with 3 different arms so you can attach lights. I haven't utilized that part of it yet, but it does clamp. Boy, talk about picking your bad cameras. I'm really throwing
you have
shade.
a question here. Do you have those sound panels?
Oh, those are here we go. Those are very cheap. Packing, if you're moving and you want to cover some stuff, boy, it's like $20. And I have one over there. I have one against this wall over here. And all I did was very professionally put some nails in the wall, hung them, and they've been fantastic for audio. Before that, there was so much echo. But just having these 2 big packing, I guess, sheets, I don't know what you call them, but...
Moving blanket, Andy says.
Thank you. Andy, Kat, you guys are geniuses. Yes, packing blankets. I bought a 3-pack, and in fact, whenever I do podcasting, I put the other one up on this wall, and the sound is fantastic, and then it makes you feel like you're kind of in a cocoon, which is kind of a great way to podcast. So it's great for audio, and if you want to feel like you're in a cocoon and separated from the world. Awesome choice. Let's see. Oh, a couple things. Cat tree, highly important. Give the people what they want. They want cats. I have Hue lights. Personally, honestly, Hue lights, very expensive. I wouldn't recommend them. The reason I have 5 over here and 2 over here is because when I closed the theater, I had like 20 plus all over the theater. So I'm just utilizing what I have. A lot of this stuff is utilized from the theater and just repurposed for live streaming. So if you have other options, I would look at stuff other than Hue lights because they're very pricey. They're great, but there's so many options now that do so many different things. I will say, if you are looking to put lights into your studio but kind of want to hide them, just putting up your favorite stuff in the background and then tucking the lights behind. Let me see if I can show. Just tucking the lights behind does a really cool, it throws up a really nice effect. So that's another thing I find helpful. Kat, any questions I'm missing?
So a question I have, because
Yes.
as everyone watching can see, I do not have any fancy LED or colorful lights in my setup, but I am curious how you connect your lights to your streams because I know that you have set up some triggers and
Ooh.
whatnot that you can actually connect them. So, what do you use for that? What kind of interface in order to connect your lights?
Yeah, let me show you. Um, so there's two products I use, and one I just became aware of like a week ago. So to connect to Hue, I use a great. If you're on a PC, I don't know if it's on a Mac. Um, I use a thing called Hutro. So it's Huetro, and it pairs perfectly with the Hue light setup. You can control all the lights within Hue. So for instance, if I'm back here, I can literally change to blue. I can change to yellow, whatever. You know colors. I can use them all.
I get stuff.
I get stuff. I understand colors and things. And you can change their intensity as well, which is really nice. So Hutro works perfectly. The other one is it's called Lumia Stream, which this actually works with a ton of different stuff. It works with Twitch. It works with YouTube. I don't think it works with Facebook, but it's called Lumia Stream, Lumia Stream. There's a free offering and a very affordable paid option. I did not include the link to that below. Sorry about that, but I'll add it. It takes a little bit of work, but it's really great because you can tie it into your YouTube broadcast and you can do things where if people put in a code in the chat, they can actually change the lights, which is really fun. I think it adds a lot of interactivity. Also, you can reveal who you are. So, for instance, my lights, I have a lot of them are triggers, video game triggers. If people put like Sonic or Mario, it changes the lights. Or comic books, if they put Wolverine or Kitty Pryde, because she's awesome and an amazing character, that will change the light setup as well. So Lumia gives you so much cool freedom. Oh, even if people tip, you can have a light setup where it kind of goes, it does a great, cool rainbow effect. So I realize I didn't take a lot of breaths while saying all those words.
I think that's great. That's really helpful around lights. And yeah, and Andy's also mentioning that you can control them with the Stream Deck. Now, Sammy put a prompt here, but I don't think you have, do you have Stream Elements running?
I don't. Yes, I
Okay.
don't have it on right now. Sorry, Sammy.
So
It's not running.
I see a question from Shalala Productions. Oh, no, I missed a law. What are things you do to help you look into the camera? Practice, visual cues, reminder notes.
That's a
Paul,
great
do you want to go
question.
first?
Sure. So the things that I do to look in the camera, I just so here's the thing. What I do personally is I just imagine it's my best friend and I'm just talking to my best friend for a couple reasons. One, it helps me think of the lens I'm looking at differently. And it's like, oh, I'm just hanging out with my friend. Two, this sounds really stupid, but I sincerely believe this. If I am thinking of my friend, I feel like it loosens my facial muscles, and I feel like I'm going into this chat with less tension because I know what it's like to hang out with a friend. I know what that best friend is like. Also, I do feel like it does things with my eyes as well, like it softens my eyes. I don't have a lot of science to back this up, but I will say that if I am thinking about hanging out with this person, then I'm instantly relaxed. And I feel if I'm relaxed, then it makes everybody else very kind of relaxed to hang out. So that's what I do.
Nice.
Also, what you could do is, and I've seen this done, I have not done this, but you could do this. Take a picture of something you like looking at, cut out in the face a hole that actually where the lens of your camera could fit, and then put it there so it's almost like you're looking at that thing whatever that is. And that could help as well. So, an idea.
So for me, because I have this teleprompter set up now, I try and put the feed. So right now I am looking at, I can see both Paul and myself. And so I'm looking in that direction. So it's right in front of my camera. So that is a trick, but I don't always have the iPad set up that way. I don't always have the feed in front of me. And I think it's just the practice really is worthwhile of knowing how you show up on camera, watching back your streams. When you start to realize that you're not looking directly at the camera, it makes a difference. And people will connect with you when you are looking at the camera. And so I think just the more you realize that's where you got to look, that is where your audience is, you need to be looking in that direction. That's helpful.
That's a great point. That's a great tip. So this is going to sound weird. Kat, what do you think about this? I was thinking about this earlier today. I was thinking about the stream, and I was thinking about all the tech we own, and it occurred to me that none of this makes our show interesting. And this is what I mean. That I think we're really good at acquiring tech. I think as people were like, oh, if I acquire this thing, that will be the thing that makes it good. But I think because I've watched a lot of live streams, and some people just do it with a webcam and a really bad webcam. But the thing is, it's the person they want to hang out with. So that's one of the reasons that I find, and I try to remind myself, looking at the lens is helpful, because they want the people who are here want to just hang out with you. That's it. I mean, they're here for information and they're here for help. But if you stripped all that away, they'd still enjoy your company. But if you stripped your personality away, they would probably go find that information somewhere else, because turns out there's a lot of videos on YouTube that do a lot of similar things. So it's not the tech, it's the personality. So I don't know. So I feel like the first thing you can do is try to connect with that person, and that is about looking at the lens so that person can see you, because we don't trust people we can't really see their eyes. I don't know. I mean, psychologically, I feel like if you can't see their eyes, you're like, I'm suspicious.
And I would like to, so I agree with you. I think what you're saying is very true. The tech is not, I mean, it might help some people feel a bit more confident. Okay, wait, what?
I'm sorry. So real quick, Stuart, I was not trying to like humble brag and be like, our personalities are pretty amazing. That was not what I was trying to do. Although I could see how that rant might have come across like, oh yeah, our personality is pretty great. No, I was just simply saying like, hey, don't worry if you can't buy this stuff. Just care about the other person who's hanging out with you. If that's one person or 100 people, I don't know.
So I agree. That is fine. Not a humble brag, but I think you're right that the personality is really important. The thing I would like to drive home is that there are all types of personalities, and that you don't have to have like a big crazy personality or be like on camera ready. Because I think we have this assumption of people will measure themselves against someone and say, but that's not me. I'm not that way. Maybe I'm not going to connect with people. I don't think that's true. I think if you have sincerity and you have heart and you care about what you're talking about, you don't have to have this kind of big personality in order to resonate with people. You can be quiet spoken and heartfelt and all these other things that stereotypically we don't always associate with streaming. You know what I mean? So sometimes we would just imagine these big personalities or these TV personalities, etc. And so we can start to talk ourselves out of it. But really, I think if you have heart and you care about what you're talking about and you want to serve, whether that's through educating or entertaining, that makes a big difference. And so don't discount that if you are worried of like, well, I don't know if I have enough of a personality. Does that make sense?
Oh, I think that's genius. That is so smart. I do. Yesterday, boy, I don't know. Yeah, why not? This conversation's a little off the rails, but I think it's also important on the rails. yesterday I had a ton of doubt on my live streaming ability, and I was like, who'd want to watch? This is trash. But I will say this, that the thing that helped is getting out of my head and just going to live stream. Like, in my head, just a fire of doubt and oh, it's not good. But the thing that helped is going live and just hanging out with people. And I did a live last night, and there were not a lot of people there. But that was wonderful. It was just a handful of people talking, hanging out. Really enjoyed it. I don't know. So I guess what I'm saying is that, yeah, like you said, Kat, just be who you are, but be authentically caring about whoever shows up. You know what live stream is? It's like a gigantic cafeteria in high school, and your channel is a table, and it's like everybody's just looking at a table to go eat lunch at, and you just be a good person. Just be a good person who says, hey, come hang out at the table. And then when they're there, care they're there. Don't put your head down and eat your lunch.
So I like that you turned it that way, because at first I thought, oh, you're giving me that horrible experience of walking into a cafeteria. I hated that. I was like, I don't want it to be like a cafeteria. However, I do like when you are older and you're an adult and you can say, hey, if I had to walk into a cafeteria now, then I would try and be nice to people, invite them to sit down. But your point, but inviting to the table and then just don't ignore them. That's very important.
I think, yeah, like YouTube and Twitch, when you show up as a viewer, every channel is like somebody at a lunch table yelling for you to come hang out. And that is a very different high school than I went to, because the high school that I went to, I was like, this is a nightmare. I'm going to go eat on the quad by myself. But I think it's so important that it's like, invite somebody over, and when they're there, really care that they're there, which can be hard because you could be so focused on inviting more people. But I don't know, if you care about that one person, they'll bring somebody else because they're like, hey, this is kind of a cool place to eat lunch and hang out. Metaphor over.
You have redeemed the high school cafeteria metaphor that started initially feeling really horrible inside when you brought it up.
Oh, people don't have good memories of high school? Oh, boy.
What?
What a delightful, wonderful experience that was.
I have a question for you around this behind the scenes and getting all this stuff together. Is there something that, if you could go back in time, what would you do differently?
Oh, boy, that's a great question. So I will say this. If I could do something... If I could do something differently... Boy, that is such a great question. I'm going to... I don't know. What would you do differently? Do you...
Well, yeah, there's a few things.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, I've been thinking about it because I thought, I'm going to show this behind the scenes, but this is not necessarily, if I could start from scratch, this is not necessarily how it would look or feel. So a couple of things that I have changed. One, I didn't really show you guys, but I actually have a soft box. I bought is it Newer? How do you say it? Newer, whatever, Newer. I bought a kit from them. So I have a backdrop, comes with a couple of cloths. It came with lighting stands. It came with soft boxes. It came with umbrellas, the whole shebang. And it was actually a pretty good price. And I realized based on my space, the soft boxes were just blasting me with light. They were not adjustable. And that's one of the reasons it prompted me to go out and get the LED, which was adjustable. I actually ordered a second LED, but they ran out because, as you know, a lot of stores are out of stock for streaming gear because during the shutdown, a lot of people have been investing in this stuff. So it's really hard to get your hands on some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I wanted to share, because I have the Sony ZV-1 and people have asked questions about the Sony ZV-1, I wanted to share my experience about it. So first, I will explain why I chose that camera. So for anyone who is not familiar, it is it's a mirrorless camera. It does not have an interchangeable lens. But when it came out, I was watching some videos on it and I saw just how great it could be for blogging and vlogging and some of the effects on it. especially really, really responsive for focusing and autofocusing if you bring something up to it. Anyway, I was impressed. Now, I knew that a recommendation for a streaming camera was to get something like what you have, or the A5100, 6100 with an interchangeable lens. When I did the math, and I'm in Canada, so everything was inflated, but there was the Sony ZV-1, knowing that the lens was what I wanted, because I don't want a really wide lens because of the space I'm in. This is a guest bedroom. I actually wanted it to be a little closer. I also knew that I might use the teleprompter. So I liked that it has, I think it's a 24 to 70 millimeter range. That was good with me. If I had bought, say, the Sony A51 or 6100 or 6400, I would have gotten, I think, the 30 millimeter lens. I like having the really low f-stop. However, when I added it all up, there was the Sony ZV-1 one package. You don't need a battery dummy. You just plug it directly in. And then with the other one, I would have had to buy the camera and then buy the lens and then buy the dummy battery. It actually was more expensive. So on a cost saving perspective, and I liked the effects, and at some point, I'd like to travel again. I love traveling. I thought this would be a great camera to bring on trips to capture our travels. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get this camera. However, from a streaming perspective, it is frustrating. And so because people will ask this question occasionally in different chats and groups and whatnot, the reason it's frustrating is that you have to have the battery in order for it to work. So even when it's plugged into the power source through a micro USB, you have to have the battery in. And I don't want to just leave it plugged in forever. I don't want to kill the battery. So I have to unplug it, plug it back in, but it needs to have a little bit of a charge in order to work. And it doesn't charge when it's on. So you have to occasionally plug it in, make sure it's got a little bit of a charge before you can stream. That's a bit of a headache. And I think if you are looking at cameras, if you're going to do multiple things with the camera, then you know what? It's actually a great camera. I'm really happy with it. But if you are looking just strictly for streaming, that's not your best bet because of the battery having to be in it in order to work it. So that's a lesson that I wanted to share, because I don't think a lot of people know that aspect of the Sony, if that helps.
Yeah, that's great advice.
I'm trying to think. There was something else that I thought about, but it has escaped my mind. So I guess that's kind of the vein of the question, is if you could do this if you could start from scratch, is there something you would maybe do differently or not invest in, or hold off and invest in something different when you can afford it?
So thank you. You gave me plenty of time. I don't know why somebody in New York is calling me. I think that is probably a spam call. I would say the thing that I started doing was wanting to learn everything. So rather than go deep, I went broad, which I think hurt me a little bit. So for instance, I wanted to learn OBS, and I wanted to learn XSplit, and I wanted to learn vMix. And I was like, once I learn these, then I can choose which one is best. Or I will know, and I'll be able to pivot, and I can use XSplit for this, and OBS for this, and vMix for this. And I think rather than that, just choose one and try to get really good at that, because so many skills you learn in one of those kind of pool over into the others. But rather than staying surface level with all of them, just dive down into one. And ultimately, I chose vMix, and that's kind of what I've deep dived down into, which I've enjoyed it. It's great. And so that's kind of the big thing I would suggest, is that don't try to be a master of everything. Just try to be just really great at one thing. And also, don't worry, your live streams are never going to be perfect. So just do them, because you will get better each time you do them. So that's the other thing too, because I was like, I need to have my hue lights do this, and I need to have my monitor over here and I need to slide the monitor close so I'm not looking too far away from the screen, just go live. People just want to hang out with you. So I don't know. That would be that's what I would say.
I think and I think you can even translate what you shared about, vMix, OBS, etc., all of that to just take it one step at a time. Like, you don't need to learn all the details of all of the things. Just because someone's talking about it doesn't mean you have to do it. If someone had mentioned, actually months ago, I heard people talking about NDI and I just thought, oh, what? I can't even wrap my head around using a stream key. So I think figure out where you are and do the next thing and do the next thing. You'll be ready eventually. Like, I haven't even touched stream elements or any of that because I thought, I'm not ready for that. Well, I'll know when I'm ready to maybe look into different things, add a new element, but you don't have to do it all at once. It might actually just be overwhelming or cause problems. And then you're running into troubleshooting and you're not quite sure what's done. So if you add one little thing at a time, I see Stuart is enjoying my Canadian accent.
About. How like when people, so I definitely have this mindset, and this is the thing, turning this off has helped a lot. I want everything to be perfect and then shout, open the gates and let everybody see this creation I've made. Whereas I think the thing that's better, how sometimes when we could all hang out and see each other, that in the summers they would have these amazing sand artists come in and create like this awesome sculpture, and you could walk by and see them create this sculpture. It wasn't done because the person would take like 2 weeks to make this amazing sculpture, but you could go by and watch it getting made, and you could see the process, and it was getting better and better. And that, I feel like, ideally is the best way to approach live streaming. It's a sculpture you're working on that everybody's hanging out as you're working on. People aren't walking in and seeing the David fully made. They're coming in and watching Michelangelo make the David. Is it Michelangelo? Who was it?
I think
Da Vinci.
I think Michelangelo made David.
Let's go.
I don't know.
To the
I
chat.
went to Florence, but I forgot. So I like that, and I just have to laugh because I grew up in Ottawa where they had Winterlude when they had snow sculptures. So kind of the opposite of maybe what you had in California, but we would see them building the snow and ice sculptures. Although now the weather is not as consistent, so you can't always rely on those actually staying cold enough to do those, which is very sad. But little Winterlude action. All right. We are coming up to the hour. We try to keep these in there. Is there any last thoughts before we wrap this puppy up?
Yeah, any questions about our tech setup or our approach that you have, throw them in the comments or throw them in the chat. Or if you're watching this later, put them in the comments and we can get to them. We're happy to answer them later in the week. Next week, very exciting. You might know him from the Venture Forward. We're having JV, which is going to be awesome. So he's going to be our guest next week. Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for all of you hanging out with us today, putting up with our bumpy little webcams as we turned this around and showed you behind the scenes. I know I had fun showing the background, and I'm glad that you guys could be here for this. Or if you're watching on the replay, I'm glad that you stuck around with us to check out what we put together.
Yeah, cool. We'll see you guys next week. Kat, this has been awesome. Thanks for hanging out.
Goodbye.